seen the shadow on the streetlights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
What's going on? Y'all know I be grooving to my own intro. You know, cause I be vibing myself. Okay, that's a vibe. You got to vibe yourself. Okay, I appreciate everybody in the room, and I want you guys to be a gracious audience members. You know how you can do that? You can hit the share button. You can hit the like button. And if you have not done, which is bad on you, if you have not hit that subscription button, you know why? I brings the tea. I brings it, okay? I don't care what you bring to the table. I'm here with my boxing gloves on. So look, it's been a wonderful week so far. And if you have not checked out the latest episode, 54, audio on the go, getting rid of your toxic ass friends when they are just taking jokes too damn far. Yes, I had a moment. I had that moment. I had to talk about it. That's what you guys have to be aware of. When you are dealing with somebody who talks about content and that stuff that happens in their lives, you could be a motivational story and just don't know it. So watch yourself, all right? But look, today I have got a very special guest. I met this wonderful woman on Facebook, and I had the pleasure of being on her podcast, which is the Sip Summers podcast. You guys have got to check that episode out with me on there, episode 9. But also, other episodes are very interesting because some of y'all need a little advice. I'm just going to be real with you. I do not beat around the bush. Some of y'all need some advice when it comes to the bedroom. Some of you men especially need some advice on effort, foreplay, being creative. You know, this is the moment you're going to give your toddler those crayons and a bunch of blank paper. Be creative. That's what we're doing here. All right. So what I want to do is bring this wonderful woman on, Jennifer Summers, who is not only a podcast host, she is a pure romance consultant and a soon-to-be certified sex consultant coach, clinical sexologist, and her show is mission is to empower women, couples truly embrace their bodies, boost their sexual wellness, and even tap into their spiritual side. You know about that spiritual life over here, okay? And from body positivity to sexual health, overcoming intimacy hurdles, and diving into joy of self-love, Jennifer's here to bring it all. So no further ado, y'all. Please welcome my guest, Jennifer Summers.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
I'm excited to have you, Jennifer. I appreciate it because I had such a blast talking to you on our conversation on navigating intimacy and dating over 40. Definitely a must listen to because there was a lot when I listened to you know how you listen to things, you don't realize all the things you said. I actually sound a little intelligent. But that was a blast. So you guys, please check out Jennifer's podcast. And I definitely want to get to the tea here because we know that you're a pure romance consultant. And could you let the people know briefly what a pure romance consultant is?
Yes, I would love to. So we do parties for women and couples. We focus on empowering, entertaining, and educating people about their bodies, about sexual health, and also showing them some really cool products that will spice things up in the bedroom or in the bathroom for that sexy self-confidence. But the most important thing is we provide a judgment-free, safe space for people to talk about these things because I feel like this is not really a topic people openly discuss.
Yeah. Well, over here we do, but yeah, I understand in general.
Right. In general, yes.
In general, yes. But I mean, because the role you play is very important whether people realize it or not, because can you verbalize an overview of what the party experience is like with a pure romance consultant?
Yeah, it's totally not what people think. Like people think we're doing demonstrations and like playing with ourselves, and it's nothing like that. Okay. It's very classy, very tasteful. I bring a variety of products. So we have a little bit of everything from bath and skincare to lingerie to intimacy, foreplay, sexual enhancement creams, and then, of course, toys. Everybody loves to see the toys. But I take everybody through an experience. I feel like most of the time when we're having sex, we don't want someone to just stab us in the vagina with something. And so what I like to do is start in the bathroom with the feeling
Mm,
good and smelling good and those pheromone oils, because when we feel good and sexy and confident in our body, we're more embodied to enjoy pleasure alone or with a partner.
exactly. And I know, speaking from being a former Bedroom Candy consultant, which some people don't know, but y'all should know. As much as I like to talk about sex, y'all should know I was telling these ladies and these couples out here, look, let's get it on. Okay, so I appreciate good sexual conversation, and people don't realize this is sexual health, and
Yes.
sexual health is something majorly that we need to be paying attention to, because whether you're with someone or you're by yourself, giving yourself a tune up, it's a needed situation. I mean, come on now, we all need a tune up. I mean, it is what it is.
Yes. It's good for your immune system.
Okay, and the thing about the parties is that experiencing the party, because that's how I got into it. I went to a party while I was in college. Never had been to one. I was like just amazed at this woman's knowledge in her inventory. So,
Yeah.
so I'm on the spot. I want to know about this. But what motivated you to become a consultant?
So I was 23 years old and I was living in my first apartment. I was working full time in healthcare. I had a part time job in sales, and that sales job was getting like phased out. So I really was looking for a way to make some extra money, but I already worked 50 hours a week at the doctor's office. So I needed something flexible. I attended a pure romance party. I was raised Catholic. I call it Catholic light because we didn't go to church, but we were like Catholic at home, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of shame, a lot of stigma around like sex and pleasure.
Hmm.
So I go to this party, Michelle, and I could not believe that people talk so openly about this stuff. And I loved the environment, the vibes, like the energy of being around women and normalizing the conversation. And I was totally hooked. I'm like, sign me up on the spot. I did this very part time for 12 years. And then in 2018, I decided I was so sick of making other people rich and helping them follow their dreams that I decided to quit my jobs, make my pure romance business full time. And I've been doing it full time for 8 years. And now, of course, I'm in school, like you said, for clinical sexology. I'm going to be a sex coach. So it's really been this great, like, beautiful trajectory that I never, ever would have believed. If you told me 20 years ago I'd be selling sex toys and talking to women about their clitoris and the G spot. Like,
All that.
but I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
It is a passion because, like I said, I have, I'm a sexual person overall, but when you learn and you get to learn some tricks of the trade, because with me, I have a sexual ego. I need to see
Mhm.
your toes curl before we ended the whole evening. Okay, like, did your toes curl? Oh, okay, we got to go back. So, but it's empowering when you're talking with couples and with women and letting them know about additional romantic options. And please, let's kill this stigma, because the men that either attend these parties or their wives or women are going to these parties, like, well, you don't need to buy too much because I'm here. Could you let men know why they should be happy that their women are attending one of your parties?
Absolutely. Studies show that relationships where they have a vibrator or some type of sexual enhancements, they're actually having more sex week over week than couples who don't have those accessories in the bedroom, you know?
Yep.
And I kind of compare it to a calculator or like AI if you use Chat GPT. Like, there's nothing wrong with using tools and resources to help get
Yes.
to the answer quicker. So, 87% of women need to have clitoris orgasm before they can orgasm from penetration. And sometimes you don't have 20 minutes to spend on foreplay to have a clitoris orgasm. So using a vibrator, it doesn't mean that they're doing the wrong thing. It just helps you get to that orgasm quicker and have more pleasure. And toys can be used on guys too. It's not just a women thing.
That's what I be telling, man. I'm like, if y'all trifling in the bedroom as it is, just say it if you are. I think I'm just thinking inventory would definitely be your go-to because it can knock out half the foreplay half the time. Have your partner stimulated, she could use some things on you, and you guys are halfway stimulated. So by the time you commence, I hear angels singing again.
Yes,
It's a beautiful, beautiful harmony. So I mean,
beautiful.
that was one of the things I know I dealt with as a consultant, that if I did have men in the audience, they would have that type of attitude. And you broke it down beautifully on why they need to be a little bit more open minded about that situation. But do you have any memorable parties where maybe you changed a person's life or a person's first experience? I mean, anything that you could share with us?
I would love to. One that really stands out to me is I had a woman at my party and she was very like timid and shy and just, very wallflower. And after we were done, we do all the shopping privately just due to the nature of the product. So we're not like having a group orgy, everybody ordering butt plugs in a group. So it's like you go into a room, you get to chat with me one on one. And this woman came into the room and shared with me that she's a mother of three. She's never had an orgasm from her partner before. She's able to
Mm,
do it herself, but she's like,
yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out on something. And I've had kids, we've been married for 15 years, and I've never experienced an orgasm. And she was like nearly in tears, Michelle. So, we talked through it. I gave her some suggestions, some products that can help, some enhancement creams. And the next day, she texted me all caps and said, I had my first orgasm last night. And it was the most beautiful thing because orgasms are such a gift of that like extreme pleasure and release of the tension. And I
Yes.
love that I was able to share a product and some, education with her that helped her break through this 15 plus years of not experiencing pleasure with her partner.
And I mean, that's a big, big, when you hear somebody like that, because I know just the start of the story, I started getting depressed. I'm like, what? You've been with so and so how long, and you have not had a special moment? No, we got to fix
Yeah.
that. It's like first aid. You have to fix it. I'm going to put a couple of electronical band-aids on your wound, and we're going to really, really recover quickly. So I'm glad that people are actually finding a space, because the ordering is private and you do get to like do
Mhm.
a one-on-one consultation, and that really secures a customer's needs, because
Yes.
the presentation is the highlight. You get to learn features and different options, but when I get behind the clothes, now can I do this with this? I just want to know this privately, because you don't want everybody in your business.
Of
So
course.
excellent. So fostering a safe space about conversation and intimacy. Why do you feel that every woman out here needs to really think about their sexual health?
Oh, what a great question, Michelle. There's a lot of reasons that having healthy sex, whether it be solo or with a partner, is beneficial. So, for the first thing, having orgasms, it boosts your oxytocin, it drops your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. It's good for your immune system, it's good for your health. It's a great natural stress reliever. And, like with everything going on in the world today, like a little bit of pleasure in your day to day or even your weekly life, whatever works for you, is a good thing. Our
Yes,
clitoris has 10 to 15,000 nerve endings. And I always say, like, if we were not meant to enjoy pleasure, we would not have a clitoris because there's no biological reason for it besides pleasure and orgasm.
exactly. Exactly. And I'm telling you right now, you hit the nail on the head, because there's nothing better than a day starter than a tune up. There's nothing better, ladies. I don't care what you say. You want your skin to glow. You want to have a nice ambiance when you walk out the door. Give yourself a tune up before you go to work. I promise you, the day will go by so much better, and it will be beneficial to your skin. Girl, you glowing. I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Keeps me young.
Look, I'm telling you, I think that's one of my secrets, because me being my age, you could try all the skincare line products and, of course, good diet, plenty of water. But I'm telling you, the orgasm is like the multivitamin to youth.
Yes, it really is. It really is. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, you got to use it or you'll lose it, and I meet some women who are moving into perimenopause or, they're in full blown menopause. And when that happens, your estrogen drops, your testosterone drops, so you can have vaginal dryness and low libido. And many women feel like, oh, that part of my life is over now because
Yeah,
they're having those symptoms.
right.
But what they don't realize is that there's tools that they can use that are going to help put pleasure back into their lives and keep them feeling young and vibrant.
And that's the thing because I know there's some. I'll say this: I've witnessed some prude conversations. And when I say prude conversations, I say women that just write off these options without experiencing or having this explained to them. So I see that little bit of ignorance because I'm like, there might not be women that are able to have, penetrational stimulation. And like you said, the clitoris is the go to.
Yes.
So let them know, hey, it's okay that that's the only way you can get yours. And they need to know your partner needs to be instructed like, baby, I'm wonderful when you're on that portion of the date, but I need the warm up to be a little bit more spicy.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's part of the problem I think is that sometimes when a woman is wet, her partner thinks that she's ready for sex. And when she's wet, that just means that she's aroused. But really, truly, the way for a woman to be ready for any type of penetration from a toy or a penis is going to be by having a clitoris orgasm first. So the
Yes.
clitoris and the penis are the same tissue. They're just organized differently. And if we expected a man to orgasm the way they expect us to orgasm from, a penis slamming in our vaginas, it would be
Mhm.
the same thing, Michelle, as them orgasming from us just hitting the gooch, the taint, like that area. So obviously they don't orgasm that way.
Right. And the more you learn about your own body, especially ladies, because
Mhm.
we have multiple stimulation points like men do, but we need to know about our own canvas to enjoy it a little bit more. And I think the more you know, the more you learn. But
Yes.
with you being an educator, why did you choose Pure Romance? Because there's plenty of companies out there, and Pure Romance has been in the game for years. Why did you choose that company particularly?
Well, it's funny you ask because I actually did not choose Pure Romance. I was a passion parties consultant for the first
Oh, okay.
10 years of my career. And then in 2016, pretty much they had a choice of going bankrupt or selling the company to Pure Romance. And thankfully, Pure Romance bought the company. And, it could not have been a better transition because, for one thing, they sent me a kit. I didn't have to buy a new kit. They sent me the kit. They gave me a lot of training and resources. And I'll say this, when you've been working in my field for 10 years, like, you can look at sex toys and know what they do.
Yeah.
But what I loved about Pure Romance is the product line was much more expansive. So, we never had lingerie. Pure Romance is lingerie. They have a lot more like wellness and, CBD products, which my clients love. And
Mhm.
I felt very welcome and open. So that's what made me stay with the company. And now I've been with Pure Romance for 9 years.
You know what you mentioned the foundation company started with. That's how I started too. That's
Really?
the same company. Yes, and I started with them. I didn't stay long enough. We're transitioning and everything, but I definitely was part of that original crew of the passion party. So we have like ties here. We have these erotic ties.
We are passion sisters,
There we
Michelle.
go. I like that. Passion
Yes.
sisters. But I like the fact that regardless of the transition of the company, you know what you want because even now you're taking it a step further with your studies. What are you hoping to accomplish once you become a certified person here?
Yes. So I'm in school studying clinical sexology. So when I graduate in about 3 weeks, oh my gosh, I
Damn.
will be a certified sex coach and a clinical sexologist. And I have a laundry list of things that I would like to do with my certification. But the most popular ones that come to mind is to provide one on one coaching to women or couples.
Mm.
I'm really excited to specifically work on low desire, mismatched desire. So, like, one partner wants it more than the other, sexless couples and also body confidence, because as a curvy plus size woman, I'm very confident in my body and I want other women to feel that way. But I also am really interested in doing retreats, and I'm super excited to share that I'm actually going to be going to New Orleans for a sensuality retreat in June.
Oh,
And I believe there are 12 spots left. So super stoked about that, to really like deep dive into like the science of sex and having more pleasure and acceptance in your life. And then lastly, I'm really excited for my podcast to keep growing, to share more education. Because I don't know about you, Michelle, but the podcast realm is probably the only space where I can openly talk about these things and not have to censor myself.
that is one thing I love about podcasting, because it's a form of, it's therapeutic as well as a form of expression, and you don't have to worry about being censored. People who vibe what you're talking about will resonate with your content. You don't necessarily have to worry about being squeamish, because it's your platform and you can say what you need to say.
Love it. It's my favorite for real. Cause like on TikTok, for example, Instagram and Facebook, I have to say like mouth hugs, lady taco, the eggplant. You know, it's just so silly when I've spent 18 years trying to normalize the conversation. And now I have to use these like silly made up words to talk about body parts.
You know what? And I hate to say this because it's totally off, but I gotta say it because America is such hypocrites when it comes to conversations about sexual content, because they use it in ads, they use it in music, they use it in everything. But don't you dare talk about it. And I'm like, wait a minute. But I just saw a commercial with somebody twerking on a taco. Come on now. What are we doing? It makes no sense to me. I think it's hypocritical, but I'm glad that we have women like yourself that's going to be, teaching people, letting them feel comfortable with their own sexuality, because that's a problem for a lot of people, that they can't step outside that shell, because
Mhm.
I think we've been painted this image, if we do too much sensuality or have too much sexual expression. And I'm like, well, that means I can't watch TV no more. But anyway, what's the perks of being a consultant?
Oh man, so we get 50% off our personal purchases, which is very nice. You know, I love
Yes.
the body oils, the shaving cream. It's great to have a discount on those. We make 50% profit on everything that we sell. Which, you know, the average party company average is about $500, so 250. I'm above average, obviously. My last party, I made like $900 and I was there for 2 hours and I never took my clothes off, you know. So financially, it is an excellent way to make money. It's definitely one of those things, though, you get what you put into it, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
it's, you know, I've seen women over the years that sign up and they make one post on Facebook and think everybody is going to be blowing up their phone to buy a vibrator. And that's just not how it works in business. Like you have to get your feet on the pavement,
Uh-huh.
get yourself out there, network, you know, be comfortable hearing the word no.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, the perks certainly outweigh, you know, the work, right? Like
Yeah.
also the fact that you get to test out toys at a discount.
Girl.
The friendships I've made in this business, though, that's really the icing on the cake for me. I have some lifelong friends and great connections with women all over the country. And I
That's
didn't
great.
expect that when I started. I started for the money, you know.
Yeah. That's, you start that business because not only are you passionate about talking about, of course, it's flexible. I get to do what I want to do, talk about sex, and I get paid. Especially for a 2 hour party, you get almost $1,000.
Yeah.
So you can't really get that nowhere else on a part-time job anywhere. And if
Exactly. No
yeah,
part-time job will let you set your own hours. And, you know, with the price of eggs these days, I'm like, any extra money for groceries or gas or whatever else is going to be helpful.
I told my son if he can't have no more omelets, the omelets are just off the menu for a couple of weeks, because the daily grocery store stop is gotten ridiculous. I'm like, do I want gas or do we need groceries? So it's always a gamble on what that is. But the financial independence and being part of a supportive community. Let's get into the education. What do you guys actually teach as a consultant?
Okay, so when you get started, there is a 2-hour sexual wellness certification, and it pretty much walks you through things about the clitoris and how women experience pleasure. It is the tiniest little molecule of sexual health,
Yeah.
but it's good because, if you're doing business with somebody who is talking about sexual health and enhancements, I would imagine you would like to think that person has some education around it. Um, Me going to school and becoming a sex coach was actually sparked by that sexual wellness certification. It's something
Mm.
that came out in COVID because our CEO recognized, like, hey, we have people out here that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. We need to make sure that these people are trained and at least, like a modicum of sexual health. So after attending that class, the 2-hour class, Michelle, I had like 6 pages of notes. And I had already been doing it for like 15 years at this point, and I was shocked by how much I did not know, despite my role as a sexual health educator. So after doing that, and seeing the change on people's faces when I would share that, like, little bit of information at the party, it made me realize, like, okay, if I don't know this stuff and they really have no clue, like, there's so many people out there who need this knowledge. So that's
Yeah.
actually what made me wanna go to school and study and learn more. But again, we have the 2-hour class. There's also a lot of support around, like, how to start your business, how to market and network. We
Yep.
have different assets for things you can post on social media or like scripts to get you comfortable with talking about it. And then they have regular calls every single week on a myriad of topics. So if you want to just work on social media, be an affiliate, they have training for that. They have training for people like me who are distributors and are out there doing parties. And then typically once a quarter, they'll have some type of regional training where you can go and learn and connect with other people. So there's a lot of opportunities. It's really going to be up to you where you want to plug in.
And you are so right on that, because I know one of the things about most of those companies that you do have the opportunity to build your own team. And I know with the company I was with, you build your own team by signing up a consultant under you, and you are responsible for getting them started. It's like a baby bird learning how to fly. And
Mhm.
you definitely have to look at what's your work ethic, because there's no add water formula to this business, to any business. But when you have a independent business, you got to grind and hustle your butt off. It goes beyond the one post on social media. It goes beyond that. Oh, I'm going to go to this women's networking event and pass out my card and let them know what I do, and I'm going to get all. But no, you have to go to a bunch of things to network, to find your niche. It's not as easy as people think.
No, it's not. It's almost like an athlete, like training. And I mentioned I made a shit ton of money the other night, but like what I didn't mention is the 3 networking events I go to every week, or all of the phone calls I made and, 10 people in a row told me no,
Yep.
or, posting on social media and nothing, not even one like. And you have to build a thick skin to be a business owner, not just with this, but I think with anything,
Yeah.
because you do hear no a lot. But it just makes those yeses and those successful events that much sweeter because
Hmm.
of how hard you work and, all of the no's and then the doors slammed on your face theoretically.
Yeah. And I mean, with both of us being podcasters, finding a guest that's going to fit the format and have a good rapport and conversation. So, we talk about the consulting side, but Lord, let's talk about the production side of podcasting, okay? The hosting of podcasting, making sure things are together. It's not easy. And I found that most people that podcast do it because they love it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
you
agree.
you have to have a love for conversation, because nothing happens overnight. How I wish it would. Don't work that way though.
Yeah. Nothing good in life is going to be easy.
And the thing about that I like about the portion that you're bringing on your podcast, because even if somebody cannot attend the party personally with you, they are able to still get your gems via podcast. And I know
Yes.
I listened to an episode where you were just breaking down the anatomy of women. This is what you need to do, and I'm like, See, this is what people need to know, so y'all know what the hell y'all doing out here to yourself and anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame them though. I mean, like a lot of men learn about sex by watching porn, which is not how people have sex really. Like really guys do the opposite of what you see in porn. And then a lot of women are taught to have a lot of shame and stigma around their bodies. Like it's bad, it's dirty, don't touch yourself. And then we, get married or we're in a long-term relationship, we're an adult, and we're suddenly expected to be these triple X porn stars that know all the moves and positions and, orgasming from like somebody touching your shoulder. And that's just not based in any reality.
Girl, if that was true, I would have my shoulders out all the time. Cause see, that's usually my trademark. I usually have my shoulder out, but like I said, I got this new shirt, y'all. I don't have my shoulder out tonight, y'all, because I wanted to rock this new shirt. So I'm being honest. The shoulder won't be out every damn episode, but
I am obsessed with your shirt. I need to know where you got it.
Oh, girl, we'll talk offline because I promise you, I've been, upgrading the wardrobe on the low. So I'm going to definitely let you know where I got this one from. But let's address those stereotypes. You mentioned stereotypes. I know when I was on your podcast and you mentioned about my experience, and I told you that when I met my son's father, I was doing the business, and that was one of the reasons he almost didn't speak to me. What are some of the misconceptions? Shut up, Rocky, my sister in the audience talking about I touched myself best. You so stupid.
I don't disagree with that logic.
Oh, no. I encourage tune-ups on a regular, but there's so many misconceptions when it comes to, you tell people your profession or a person that's first time attending one of these parties. And what are some of the misconceptions you've dealt with?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if we have enough time, but I can share a few. So, from a dating perspective, a lot of men think that I am like going to women's homes and like masturbating 10 women and like, or I'm like using a vibrator on myself and showing like other women what to do. I don't do that. Spoiler alert. I present, I don't demonstrate. Yeah, that's the most common thing I get asked with like dating. Like, oh, you like masturbate women? And
I've
think
never heard the masturbate women thing though. I'm just like, yo, why would I go to somebody else's house to do that? Just that makes no sense.
I don't know. You can pay me enough.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe like $50,000. Maybe then I would do it.
Yeah, the indecent proposal. Yeah, I'm gonna consider that one.
Yeah. As far as people that come to my parties for the first time, I think there's like a fear, a nervousness of the unknown, right? But some things I've heard feedback from what I call party virgins is they thought I was going to be asking them pointed questions about their sex life. They thought I was going to ask them what their favorite positions are. They thought that we were going to be sitting around and sharing all of our sex stories. People sometimes think I have like 98 vibrators. I don't, I have a full calendar and a busy life. I don't have time to play with 98 toys.
No.
Probably the biggest one though is that I'm some kind of like sex freak. And I can understand why people would think that, but I'm not really. I mean, it depends on who the person is, but
see, and that's the thing. Like I'm like, yeah, you can get that side of me, but I'm an exclusive naughty girl.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
you got to push the right buttons to get that.
I'm like, nobody, you just can't walk in the room, whip your junk out and think, oh my God, the freak in me is coming out now. And no, it don't work like that. I wish people would just get that misconception out of their minds, but we got pros and cons with this profession as well. The flexibility and freedom, and also the positive impact that you have, as well as financial benefits. But what are some of the cons that we have to deal with in the business?
The cons would probably be just I don't think I realized how hard it would be to hear no. But I mean, again, after 18 years, like it doesn't faze me now. Also, oh gosh, probably the fact that I had to get a new wallet because I couldn't fit all the cash in my wallet anymore. So that was kind of hard on me.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, really, there aren't really that many cons. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty great job.
Yeah.
Being your own boss, I mean, I can't complain.
One thing I will say, and I'm a look at it from a comedic standpoint. When you're on stage performing and you have you have an audience heckler, Did you ever have an opportunity where there's somebody who's either being disruptive, don't really want to hear it, being too prudish? They're just disrupting the party vibe, and you got to regain some crowd control.
My last party, they were having a great time. It was a wonderful party, but they were very loud. And I have a microphone. It's like a Britney bitch microphone with like the little, microphone in front of my face. And Michelle, I was literally yelling into the microphone and they still couldn't hear what I said.
Jesus.
Um, my whole vibe is like, I'm not a teacher. I'm not going to be like, you need to be quiet and listen to me. It's a party. People are there to have fun. There are a couple products that I sell that I don't want people to go home and put in the wrong hole. And so when I get to those, that's the like, hey, pay attention to me. So that specific party, I was yelling, I yelled free vibrators in my microphone and they got dead silent when I said that. So that worked really
Selective.
well.
Yeah.
And then I said something about like, don't put this in your butt or something. And that's when they got the attention too. Um, Usually it's not the whole party. It's usually like two people, and
Right.
when that happens, I kind of just go over to the people who are listening to me because I know they want the education.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time though since somebody has really shook me. And I think that's because of my longevity. But I did have a party once that was co-ed, and I really don't like to do co-ed parties anymore because of this. There were a couple guys, just like single bros, and they were yelling and hollering about, oh, you don't need this. I got a big dick, kind of nonsense energy. And one of the guys actually broke one of my vibrators by throwing it against the wall. So the way
Ooh.
I handled that was by like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like, good night, goodbye.
Yeah.
Take the money and go. But
Mm-hmm.
now I prevent that by only doing if men are there, if they're gay or they're in a relationship. But I don't feel like single, straight, like cis men really have a reason to be there unless they want to be open minded and learn.
Yeah. And that's so distracting and disruptive. And I
Yes.
promise you, I understand where you're coming from with the loudness because I used to have a microphone too. I used to have a headset and a little amplifier. And even with the yelling, and the only thing that worked for me, and it was funny, I would take one of the loudest vibrators and put it on the mic. And go ahead, here. I'm like, oh, like, what's that? I'm like, yeah, now I got your attention, don't I? Let's
I
talk
will
about.
definitely use that tip. I have a party on Saturday with 22 people, so I
Oh
might need
yeah.
to put the vibrator on the microphone.
I have a Howard Stern private parts movie flash when I see that when he asked a woman to straddle a speaker and he was making those noises. I say, you know what? I bet you that would work with a vibrator.
Yeah. That'll totally work. Yes. That's a
Yeah, I'm like if
brilliant idea.
you don't react to some buzzing sounds over a loudspeaker, something's wrong with you. So yeah, you're not really paying too much attention on that note. But I want
Yes.
to ask the audience if you guys have any questions before we wrap this up, because Jennifer has been so good to come on here to talk about this. And this won't be the last time you see her, guys. I like having good sexual health conversations and talking about getting it on with yourself, if not nobody else. But
Yes.
where can people find you, Jennifer?
So my website is selfmadediva.com. And if you go to my website, it has links to everything. So you can flip through my catalog, you can shop 24/7 and see all 168 products in my product line. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I'm not like a weird dildo lady. I actually post a lot of funny, educational, empowering content. So I'd love to invite the listeners to check it out. And my podcast link is on there. And then the final thing that's on there is an ask me anything anonymously. So if there's a question that you may not feel comfortable sharing in the chat attached to your name, you can ask those questions there. And that's part of my podcast content is I create episodes based on viewer questions.
See, that's what I'm talking about. The awesomeness of being able to go to a platform, get the expertise. And I said, because she's certified. I want y'all to
Mhm.
stop listening to these folks on all these social media platforms that just like to talk about flesh and got no education behind it. Okay. Please.
Exactly.
Trill, what's going on, Trill, my love? How you doing? It's good to see you in the building. But I really enjoyed our conversation, Jennifer, and I really think that people should definitely book you for what area you in, first of all.
I live in the Washington, D.C. area. So I travel within 2 hours. So that's like, Baltimore, Richmond, anywhere in between. I'm going to like near Luray, Virginia in the mountains tomorrow. So I'll go anywhere within a 2 mile radius. Yeah.
I was about to say
Or
in the
if you're at the
mountains.
beach, I'll go to the beach,
Hey,
trying to go
look,
on vacation.
you had me at mountains, so I'll say it. That's just one of my matter of fact. One more question:
Yeah.
do you help with fantasy encouragement? I mean, because you might have a client that have that one-on-one consulting with you, and then okay, this is the appropriate time. Role play, any type of fantasy. So, have you ever had a moment where you instruct or advise somebody on that?
Absolutely. So, product wise, we have a lot of 50 Shades of Grey esque products. And some of the most popular ones at my parties are going to be the over the door swing, which you put over your door, holds up to 300 pounds. And it's a sex swing that you can take anywhere on the go. We also have bed restraints. So that goes in between the mattress and the box spring. And then our sexy spreader, which are they're really fun, Michelle. They're leg spreaders. So it makes it so you can spread your legs very wide and open to get deeper penetration. So, nipple clamps, all sorts of stuff. In addition to that, though, I had a very intensive class for my schooling on BDSM, Tantra, and consensual non monogamy. And in that class, I was able to learn a lot about fantasy play, consent, negotiation, and how to help clients explore BDSM and explore those desires and those fantasies. So if it's something like basic and simple, like, hey, I want to buy some products, I have that. And then if it's something more about deep diving, about really learning more about it and discovering what your kinks may be, that's going to be more of a coaching conversation. But I help with both of those things.
Y'all need a fantasy coach. Hit my girl up, man. She needs to start doing some fantasy online consulting, because this is one thing that irritates and makes my ass itch when it comes to intimacy. You should know me, my kinks a little bit, or at least try something. And the major turnoff I have when it comes to intimacy is that you're not trying. You should have me in gravy stance by the time I get to where you're at. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I find one of the biggest things people talk to me about is like they're afraid to talk to their partner about what their kinks and desires are, because they're afraid their partner is going to not necessarily kink shame them, but like, hey, I want to try this. And the partner's like, absolutely not. And then
Yeah.
they feel very vulnerable and uncomfortable because they finally opened up. So it's quite a fine balance. But yeah, a lot of people want to explore, they just don't know where to start.
Well, I start by expressing myself. That's just me. Everybody's not like me, but I definitely don't like to beat around the bush when it comes to, let me rephrase that. I don't like to play around when we need to get to the point.
I'm with you. But even for me, like it's probably been in like the last year since I've been in school that I feel more comfortable asking for what I want in the bedroom. And even before that, having, worked in this industry as long as I have, it still felt like, ugh, like scary. Like it would get caught in my throat almost when I wanted to like ask for something. So I recognize like everybody's different in this, game of life. And, some people have no issue. Some people are very like scared of what's going to happen, or scared of like asking for what they want.
Y'all better stop being on mute. I tell you, that life is better out here when you are out here among the unspoken. Okay? Do not be one of the unspoken. I think you should always verbalize your wants and needs. Always.
Agreed.
Because
Yes.
you are not a cookie cutter operation. You don't have the same ingredients in your cookie.
You don't.
And Demetrius, you are not going to worry me talking about the sex swing, which helps with handicapped people. They have a great time. Yes. And I'm glad that you found one of these aids to help you out, Demetrius, because I know you be getting your freak on.
I love that they said that, because my class right after the BDSM class was actually on disability, like functionally diverse people. and how they have sex and like ways to help those that group of people. And
Mhm.
I don't think a lot of people realize like disabled people still have a sex drive. They still want
Yeah.
to have sex and pleasure and intimacy, but sometimes they get infantized and it's like there's something wrong with them wanting to have sex. But yes, the sex swing is great for somebody that's functionally diverse, because they can still, have that pleasure and not have to worry about like their arms and their legs. They can be, you know, like a
Am I,
buffet, like ready to be served.
girl, you gonna make me make a phone call, but I'm gonna say this much.
I have that effect on people, Michelle.
I mean, but this is great because people don't understand all the options available. So, let me just thank you for bringing that point up, because people may not know that that's an aid that also can help you enjoy a better sex life. Like I said, regardless whether having a disability or just able-bodied, get your ass in that swing. Either way.
Yes.
But you guys make sure you follow Jennifer. I have had a great time having this conversation. I hope you guys definitely learned a lot here. And if you are in the area that she's serving, DC, Maryland, Baltimore, you said, that's the
DC,
area.
Maryland, and Virginia.
Virginia. Okay, so if you guys are in any of those areas, make sure you hit Jennifer Summers up for your pure romance party. And aren't there some perks when you host a party?
Yeah, yeah. I love to spoil my hostesses. They never pay full price. So my hostesses get 10% of all the party sales in free product that they get to choose. They also get a thank you gift from me, because I really appreciate them giving me an opportunity to come into their home and have an opportunity to, meet and connect with their friends. And then they also get extra discounts when their friends book a party from their party. My last hostess got $190 in free products. So she got everything on her wish list for free. And I was thrilled for her, because that's always my goal. I want to hook my
Exactly.
hostess up.
Exactly, because you definitely want to make sure, because I would always explain to the host, if she, especially if they were attending a party of one of their girlfriends, and I'm like, well, if you saw all this inventory, you want more than what you can purchase tonight, you book a party with me, you could possibly get it all free.
Yes.
And that was the go-to. They book a party right away and would really promote. I get them like, okay, you got to be a cheerleader. You got to make your friends spend money on this like it's crack. Okay, so this is what you gotta do. But Jennifer, I appreciate your knowledge, your wisdom. Don't go anywhere, hang backstage, because we gotta do a quick girl talk before we wrap everything up. All right, Jennifer
Sounds
Summers,
good.
make sure you subscribe to her podcast, Super Summers, and book that party. Get your groove on. And hey, once she becomes certified, she might be online, do some other stuff online for you guys. You never know. Jennifer, thank you again so much.
Thank you, Michelle. You're
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you so much. Jennifer Summers, y'all. See, I told y'all I was going to bring y'all some adult conversation, and it was adult conversation that y'all had to be ashamed about, because on this platform, we adults. We can discuss grown folk shit. That's what we do over here, okay? So you guys, make sure you guys check out her podcast. I had a great time over there. And hold up. You seen your lab? What? You know what, Drip? We're going to have a conversation in the DMs in a minute, all right? I don't know what you speak of, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. But look, I am going to go ahead and let you guys know there are possibly 2 shows next week. Thursday for sure, with the fabulous Victoria Said It. Okay, so let me go ahead and let you guys do a little teaser of what's coming next week. That is the fabulous Victoria Said It, stand-up comedian and co-host of my homie, Big Vino. Okay, so you guys make sure you tune in Thursday. I got something working on Tuesday, but it's not concrete yet. But if it not, you still get to see me. You still get to see me. So I appreciate it. And next week's audio episode, this is going to be a good one. I'm going to talk about how you just suddenly lose the attraction for somebody. You ever had that feeling when you find, oh, he is so fine, and they open their mouth? Oh, she's so intelligent, but she does something stupid, and your attraction just It just goes out the window. Some people have that effect. You lose the attraction for them immediately. Okay, I've been there. So we're going to talk about it on next week's episode. But everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. Love, light, blessing, and happiness. I will see you guys next go around. And until that time, I'm out. Peace.
Talk to me in the shadow, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story, feel the beat, don't know.